boosts brain power 100x Brain Rules by Dr. John Medina. A brain built for the wild. The human brain is a product of millions of years of evolution, shaped by the challenges of survival in the wild. During this time, our ancestors faced a constant need to solve problems related to finding food, avoiding predators, and navigating an ever-changing environment. This led to the development of a brain that is highly adaptable, efficient at pattern recognition, and skilled at social cooperation. However, as Dr. John Medina explained, modern society often presents environments that are at odds with this evolutionary heritage. For instance, our ancestors were in almost constant motion, walking and running up to 12 miles per day. This physical activity played a crucial role in shaping the brain's development. Today, however, many of us lead sedentary lives, spending hours sitting at desks or in front of screens. This lack of movement has significant implications for cognitive function, as Dr. John Medina highlights a strong link between physical activity and mental sharpness. Another key difference is the way we learn. In the wild, learning was driven by immediate needs and experiences. Our ancestors learned by doing, by trial and error, and by observing and imitating others. This type of learning is highly contextual and emotionally charged, which makes it effective for survival. However, modern education systems often prioritize the delivery of abstract information through lectures and textbooks, which can be less engaging and less likely to be retained. Dr. John Medina points to these mismatches between our evolutionary past and our modern environment as a key problem, arguing that they can hinder our ability to learn, work, and thrive. This is particularly relevant in today's knowledge-based economy, where cognitive skills are highly valued. By understanding the brain's evolutionary history and the environmental factors that influence its function, we can create learning and working environments that are better suited to our cognitive needs. Exercise boosts brain power. Our brains were built for movement. Dr. John Medina explained that our brains evolved in an environment where movement was a necessity. For millions of years, our ancestors walked and ran as much as 12 miles per day to find food and avoid predators. This constant movement played a crucial role in shaping the human brain, making physical activity essential for optimal cognitive function, not just a modern-day health recommendation. Dr. John Medina explained that the positive effects of exercise on the brain are visible across a lifespan. Studies of aging populations show a striking difference in cognitive abilities between those who maintain an active lifestyle and those who remain sedentary. Those who exercised regularly not only lived longer but also demonstrated superior long-term memory, reasoning, attention, and problem-solving skills. This suggests that a lifetime of exercise can significantly preserve and enhance brain power, allowing individuals to maintain mental sharpness well into their later years. The good news is that even short bursts of physical activity can benefit the brain. Studies show that introducing even modest amounts of exercise can lead to notable cognitive improvements. How exercise benefits the brain. 1. Increased blood flow. When we exercise, blood flow increases throughout the body, including the brain. This delivers vital nutrients, like glucose and oxygen, and removes waste products, improving the overall efficiency of brain cells. 2. Stimulation of BDNF. Exercise stimulates the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that supports the growth and survival of neurons. BDNF is particularly active in the hippocampus, a brain region crucial for memory formation. 3. Stress reduction. Exercise helps to buffer against the negative effects of stress, which can impair cognitive function. Dr. John Medina suggests that even small changes to incorporate more movement can make a big difference in boosting brain power. Ideas include 1. Reintroducing recess in schools. 2. Incorporating short exercise breaks throughout the workday. 3. Using treadmills or stationary bikes while working. 4. Holding walking meetings. Chapter 1. The human brain evolved. 2. Adapting to change, the evolution of the human brain. The human brain is not simply a larger version of the brains found in other animals, it is qualitatively different, possessing unique capabilities that have allowed our species to not only survive but to dominate the planet. This remarkable organ, as Dr. John Medina explained, is the product of millions of years of evolution, shaped by the relentless pressures of natural selection in a demanding environment. Life on the African savanna, where humans first evolved, presented a consistent set of challenges: finding food, avoiding predators, and navigating a dynamic, often unpredictable landscape. These challenges favored individuals with brains that were adaptable, capable of learning from experience, and skilled at social cooperation. One crucial adaptation, and one that distinguishes humans from most other primates, is bipedalism, the ability to walk upright on two legs. This freed up our hands for tool use and, importantly, reduced the energy required for movement. Dr. John Medina explained that this energy surplus was then diverted to developing a larger, more complex brain. This led to the evolution of the prefrontal cortex, a region located just behind the forehead that is significantly larger in humans than in other primates. This area is responsible for executive functions, such as problem-solving, planning, and inhibiting impulses, abilities that are essential for navigating complex social situations and adapting to new challenges. Dr. John Medina emphasized that our brains didn't just get bigger, they evolved to excel at symbolic reasoning. This capacity allows us to use symbols to represent objects and ideas, forming the foundation for language, mathematics, and art. This ability to abstract and manipulate information is a defining characteristic of human intelligence and is thought to have played a critical role in our ability to create culture and transmit knowledge across generations. While a capacity for symbolic reasoning is likely rooted in the need to predict and understand the intentions of others within a social group, Dr. John Medina suggests that a key driver in the development of human intelligence was our adaptation to environmental variability. Unlike many animals that are specialized for a particular ecological niche, humans evolved to thrive in a wide range of environments. This required a flexible brain, capable of rapidly learning new skills and adapting to changing circumstances. Dr. John Medina points out that this evolutionary history has profound implications for how we learn and function today. For example, our brains are still wired for the physical activity that was essential for survival on the savanna. As discussed in our previous conversation, regular exercise provides the brain with the fuel and stimulation it needs to function optimally. Similarly, our brains are naturally curious and driven to explore, traits that were essential for discovering new resources and adapting to change. Dr. John Medina argued that modern education systems and workplaces often stifle this innate curiosity, relying on passive learning methods that are less effective than active, experiential learning. By understanding the brain's evolutionary history, we can create environments that leverage these natural learning tendencies and allow our remarkable brains to reach their full potential. Chapter 2. Every brain is wired differently. A symphony of individuality, why no two brains are alike. Dr. John Medina emphasized a key principle about brain development: every brain is wired differently. This isn't just a charming notion of individuality, it's a fundamental truth rooted in the biology of learning. While all human brains share the same basic structures and functions, the specific pathways and connections that form within each brain are unique, shaped by a lifetime of experiences. The process of learning literally rewires the brain. As we encounter new information, our neurons, the brain's fundamental processing units, forge new connections and strengthen existing ones. This dynamic process, called neuroplasticity, allows the brain to adapt and change throughout life. This rewiring is influenced by a multitude of factors: genetics, early childhood experiences, cultural influences, ongoing learning, and even seemingly insignificant daily encounters. This means that even identical twins, who share the same genetic blueprint, will not have identical brains. Their brains will have been shaped by subtle differences in their experiences, leading to distinct neural pathways and unique ways of processing information. Dr. John Medina described the development of neural pathways as analogous to building a road network. While major highways, representing the brain's fundamental structures, are similar in everyone, the smaller roads and side streets, representing the intricate connections between neurons, are highly individualized, reflecting the unique tapestry of each person's experiences. To illustrate this concept of individuality, Dr. John Medina cite the work of Dr. George Ogeman, a neurosurgeon who has spent decades mapping the brains of patients with epilepsy. Using a technique called electrical stimulation mapping, Dr. Ogeman meticulously probes different areas of the brain while the patient is awake, observing the effects on language, movement, and other cognitive functions. Dr. Ogeman's research has revealed a striking degree of variation in how brains are organized. For example, he found that the areas responsible for language processing, such as understanding words and constructing sentences, can vary significantly from person to person. This means that there is no single language center in the brain, rather, language is distributed across multiple brain regions, with the specific organization unique to each individual. Dr. John Medina argued that this inherent variability in brain wiring has significant implications for education and work. Traditional one-size-fits-all approaches to teaching and learning, which assume that all students learn in the same way and at the same pace, are at odds with this biological reality. Dr. John Medina advocates for a more personalized approach to learning that takes into account the unique wiring of each student's brain. They suggest that educators should identify and nurture individual strengths, recognize that students have different learning styles and talents and tailor instruction to their individual needs. Provide diverse learning opportunities, offer a variety of learning experiences, such as hands-on activities, group projects, and individualized instruction, to engage students with different learning preferences. Embrace flexibility and adaptability, be willing to adjust teaching methods and curriculum to meet the needs of diverse learners. Dr. John Medina also suggests that businesses should recognize the unique strengths and talents of their employees and create work environments that allow individuals to contribute their unique perspectives and skills. This could include providing flexible work arrangements, allow employees to work in ways that best suit their individual needs and preferences. Encouraging collaboration and knowledge sharing, foster an environment where employees can learn from each other and share their expertise. Supporting ongoing learning and development, provide opportunities for employees to develop new skills and stay current in their fields. By embracing the inherent variability of the human brain, we can create more effective learning environments, unlock the potential of individuals, and foster a more inclusive and productive society. Chapter 3. We ignore boring things. The brain's attentional spotlight can focus on only one thing at a time, no multitasking. We are better at seeing patterns and abstracting an event's meaning than recording detail. Emotional arousal helps the brain learn. Audiences check out after 10 minutes, but you can keep grabbing them back by telling narratives or creating events rich in emotion. What we pay attention to is profoundly influenced by memory. Our previous experience predicts where we should pay attention. Culture matters too. These differences can significantly affect how an audience perceives a presentation, whether in school or business. We pay attention to things like emotions, threats, and sex. Regardless of who you are, the brain pays great attention to these questions. Can I eat it? Will it eat me? Can I mate with it? Will it mate with me? Have I seen it before? The brain is not capable of multitasking. We can talk and breathe, but when it comes to higher-level tasks, we can't do it. Driving while talking on a cell phone is like driving drunk. The brain is a sequential processor, and large fractions of a second are consumed every time the brain switches tasks. This is why cell phone talkers are a half-second slower to hit the brakes and get in more wrecks. Workplaces and schools encourage this type of multitasking. Walk into any office, and you'll see people sending emails, answering their phones, instant messaging, and on MySpace, all at the same time. Research shows your error rate goes up 50%, and it takes you twice as long to do things. When you're always online, you're constantly distracted. So the always online organization is the always unproductive organization. Knowledge will not be richly encoded in the brain's database if a teacher can't hold a student's interest. Brains in wild animals are 15% to 30% larger than tame, domestic counterparts. The cold, hard world forced the wild animals into constant learning mode. It is the same with humans. The more activity you do, the more complex it can become. The brain cannot multitask. It is a myth. The brain focuses attention on concepts sequentially, one at a time. Switching takes time. Chapter 4. Making Memories Stick, the Power of Repetition. Dr. John Medina explained that while the human brain possesses an incredible capacity for learning, memory is not a simple matter of recording information like a video camera. Memories are not formed instantly but are constructed over time, through a complex process involving multiple brain regions and multiple stages of processing. One of the most critical factors in determining whether something we learn will be remembered is repetition. Dr. John Medina likened the process of forming a new memory to students creating dirt paths by walking across a pristine lawn. At first, the paths are faint and easily erased. But with repeated use, the paths become more defined, eventually becoming permanent fixtures in the landscape. Similarly, repeated exposure to information strengthens the neural connections that underlie memory, making the memory more durable and easier to retrieve. This process of strengthening memories through repetition is called consolidation. Dr. John Medina outlined 2 key types of consolidation. 1. Synaptic consolidation. This occurs within minutes or hours of learning and involves strengthening the connections between individual neurons. 2. System consolidation. This is a much slower process that can take years and involves transferring memories from the hippocampus, a brain region involved in short-term memory, to the cortex, where long-term memories are stored. The importance of elaboration. Dr. John Medina emphasized that simply repeating information over and over is not the most effective way to learn. The quality of the repetition matters. The more elaborately we process information during repetition, the stronger the memory will be. This means going beyond rote memorization and actively engaging with the material, connecting it to existing knowledge, and finding personal meaning in it. The spacing effect. Dr. John Medina also highlight the importance of timing when it comes to repetition. Spacing out repetitions over time is significantly more effective than cramming information all at once. This is because spaced repetition allows the brain to consolidate memories more effectively, reducing interference from new information. Putting repetition into practice. Dr. John Medina offers several practical suggestions for applying the principles of repetition to enhance learning. 1. Elaborative rehearsal. After learning something new, spend time thinking about it, discussing it with others, or writing about it. This helps to encode the information more deeply and make it more memorable. 2. Spaced retrieval. Review material at increasing intervals. For example, review notes shortly after class, then again a few days later, then a week later, and then again before a test. 3. Teaching in cycles. Instead of presenting information in a single, uninterrupted stream, break lessons into smaller chunks and repeat them cyclically throughout the day or week. 4. Creating multisensory experiences. Engaging multiple senses during learning can enhance memory. For example, combining visual aids with auditory explanations can make information more memorable. By understanding the power of repetition and applying these evidence-based strategies, we can significantly enhance our ability to learn and remember information, whether it's for school, work, or simply for personal enrichment. Chapter 5. Remember to repeat. Most memories disappear within minutes, but those that survive the fragile period strengthen with time. Long-term memories are formed in a two-way conversation between the hippocampus and the cortex until the hippocampus breaks the connection and the memory is fixed in the cortex, which can take years. As a result, our brains only give us an approximate view of reality because they mix new knowledge with memories and store them together. The way to make long-term memory more reliable is to incorporate further information gradually and repeat it in timed intervals. It takes years to consolidate a memory. Not minutes, hours, or days, but years. What you learn in first grade is formed in your sophomore year in high school. Medina's dream school repeats what was learned, not at home but during the school day, 90 to 120 minutes after the initial learning. But, unfortunately, our schools are designed so that most real knowledge has to happen at home. How do you remember better? Repeated exposure to information / in precisely timed intervals / provides the most powerful way to fix memory in the brain. Forgetting allows us to prioritize events. But if you want to remember to repeat. Chapter 6. Sleep well, think well. A good night's sleep, the foundation for a sharp mind. Dr. John Medina reveals a profound truth about the human brain. Sleep is not simply a period of rest but a crucial time for cognitive processing and learning. While it might seem counterintuitive that a state of unconsciousness could be so vital for mental acuity, the brain is surprisingly active during sleep, working tirelessly to consolidate memories, process emotions, and prepare for the next day's challenges. The sleep-wake battle. Dr. John Medina describes sleep as a dynamic process governed by two opposing forces, the circadian arousal system, process C, which strives to keep us awake, and the homeostatic sleep drive, process S, which promotes sleep. These two forces engage in a continuous tug-of-war, influencing our sleep-wake cycles and determining our optimal sleep times. Understanding chronotypes. Dr. John Medina explained that individuals vary in their chronotypes, which refers to their natural sleep-wake patterns. Some people, known as larks, are naturally early risers, while others, known as owls, are most alert and productive in the evening. These differences are driven by variations in the timing of our circadian rhythms and have a significant impact on our sleep quality and cognitive performance. The importance of the nap zone. Most people experience a natural dip in alertness during the mid-afternoon, often referred to as the nap zone. This is a time when both process C and process S are at a low point, resulting in a transient feeling of sleepiness. Dr. John Medina notes that ignoring this natural need for rest can lead to decreased productivity and increased errors. They suggest that embracing the nap zone, perhaps by incorporating a short nap into the workday, can significantly improve cognitive performance. The devastating effects of sleep loss. Dr. John Medina emphasized the detrimental effects of sleep deprivation on cognitive function. Even a single night of insufficient sleep can lead to impairments in attention, working memory, executive function, mood, and decision-making. Chronic sleep loss can have even more serious consequences, increasing the risk of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and depression. Sleep enhances learning and problem-solving. Dr. John Medina provides compelling evidence that sleep plays a critical role in learning and memory. They cite studies showing that students who get a good night's sleep perform significantly better on tests of memory and problem-solving than those who are sleep-deprived. They suggest that sleep allows the brain to consolidate memories, strengthen neural connections, and integrate new information with existing knowledge. The power of sleeping on it. Dr. John Medina also highlights the benefits of sleep for problem-solving and creative thinking. They describe studies showing that people are more likely to solve problems or gain insights after a period of sleep. This suggests that sleep allows the brain to work through problems unconsciously, making connections that might not be apparent during waking hours. Creating a sleep-friendly environment. Given the crucial role of sleep in cognitive function, Dr. John Medina advocates for creating environments that promote healthy sleep habits. This could include matching schedules to chronotypes. Schools and businesses could consider offering flexible schedules that allow individuals to work or study during their peak productivity times, taking into account their natural sleep-wake patterns. Respecting the nap zone. Organizations could encourage or even institutionalize short naps during the workday to improve alertness and productivity. Promoting sleep hygiene. Educate individuals about the importance of establishing regular sleep routines, creating a relaxing bedtime environment, and avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed. By prioritizing sleep and creating environments that support healthy sleep habits, we can harness the brain's remarkable ability to learn, adapt, and thrive. Chapter 7. Stressed brains don't learn the same way. Your body's defense system, the release of adrenaline and cortisol, is built to respond immediately to a serious but passing danger, such as a saber-toothed tiger. Chronic stress, such as hostility at home, dangerously deregulates a system built only to deal with short-term responses. Under chronic stress, adrenaline creates scars in your blood vessels that can cause a heart attack or stroke, and cortisol damages the cells of the hippocampus, crippling your ability to learn and remember. Individually, the worst kind of stress is the feeling that you have no control over the problem, you are helpless. Emotional stress has huge impacts across society on children's ability to learn in school and on employees' productivity at work. Your brain is built to deal with stress that lasts about 30 seconds. The brain is not designed for long-term stress when you feel like you have no control. The saber-toothed tiger ate you, or you ran away, but it was all over in less than a minute. If you have a terrible boss, the saber-toothed tiger can be at your door for years, and you begin to deregulate. If you are in a bad marriage, the saber-toothed tiger can be in your bed for years, and the same thing occurs. You can watch the brain shrink. Stress damages virtually every kind of cognition that exists. It impairs memory and executive function. It can hurt your motor skills. When stressed out over a long period, it disrupts your immune response. As a result, you get sicker more often. It disrupts your ability to sleep. You get depressed. The emotional stability of the home is the single most significant predictor of academic success. So if you want your kid to get into Harvard, go home and love your spouse. You have one brain. The same brain you have at home is the same brain you have at work or school. Therefore, the stress you are experiencing at home will affect your performance at work and vice versa. Chapter 8. Stimulate more of the senses. We absorb information about an event through our senses, translate it into electrical signals, some for sight, others for sound, etc., disperse those signals to separate parts of the brain, and then reconstruct what happened, eventually perceiving the event as a whole. The brain relies partly on experience in deciding how to combine these signals, so two people can perceive the same event very differently. Our senses evolved to work together, vision influencing hearing, for example, meaning that we learn best if we stimulate several purposes simultaneously. For instance, smells have an extraordinary power to bring back memories, maybe because smell signals bypass the thalamus and head straight to their destinations, which include that supervisor of emotions known as the amygdala. Our senses work together, so it is important to stimulate them. Your head crackles with the perceptions of the whole world: sight, sound, taste, smell, touch, energetic as a frat party. The smell is unusually effective at evoking memory. For example, if you're tested on the details of a movie while the fragrance of popcorn is wafted into the air, you'll remember 10 to 50% more. The smell is essential to business. For example, when you walk into Starbucks, you smell coffee first. They have done several things to ensure that's the case over the years. Chapter 9. Vision trumps all other senses. Vision is our dominant sense, taking up half of our brain's resources. However, what we see is only what our brain tells us we see, and it's not 100% accurate. The visual analysis we do has many steps. First, the retina assembles photons into little movie-like information streams. The visual cortex processes these streams, some areas registering motion, others registering color, etc. Finally, we combine that information back together so we can see. We learn and remember best through pictures, not written or spoken words. We are incredible at remembering pictures. Hear a piece of information, and you'll remember 10% of it 3 days later. Add an image, and you'll remember 65%. Pictures beat text as well, partly because reading is so inefficient for us. Our brain sees words as lots of tiny pictures, and we have to identify specific features in the letters to be able to read them. That takes time. Why is vision such a big deal to us? It could be how we've always apprehended major threats, food supplies, and reproductive opportunities. Toss your PowerPoint presentations. It's text-based, nearly 40 words per slide, with 6 hierarchical levels of chapters and subheads, all terms. Professionals everywhere need to know about the incredible inefficiency of text-based information and the incredible effects of images. So burn your current PowerPoint presentations and make new ones. Chapter 10. Male and female brains are different. The X chromosome that males have one of and females have two of, though one acts as a backup, is a cognitive hotspot, carrying a considerable percentage of genes involved in brain manufacture. Women are genetically more complex because the active X chromosomes in their cells are a mix of moms and dads. Men's X chromosomes come from mom, and their Y chromosome carries less than 100 genes, compared with about 1,500 for the X chromosome. Men's and women's brains are structurally and biochemically, men have a bigger amygdala and produce serotonin faster, for example, but we don't know if those differences have significance. Men and women respond differently to acute stress. Women activate the left hemisphere's amygdala and remember the emotional details. Men use the right amygdala and get the gist. What's different? Mental health professionals have known for years about sex-based differences in the type and severity of psychiatric disorders. Males are more severely afflicted by schizophrenia than females. By more than 2 to 1, women are more likely to get depressed than men, a figure that shows up just after puberty and remains stable for the next 50 years. Males exhibit more antisocial behavior. Females have more anxiety. Most alcoholics and drug addicts are male. Most anorexics are female. Men and women handle acute stress differently. When researcher Larry Cahill showed them slasher films, men fired up the amygdala in their brain's right hemisphere, which is responsible for the gist of an event. Their left was comparatively silent. Women lit up their left amygdala, the one responsible for details. Having a team that simultaneously understood the gist and details of a given stressful situation helped us conquer the world. Men and women process certain emotions differently. Emotions are useful. They make the brain pay attention. These differences are a product of complex interactions between nature and nurture. Chapter 11. We are powerful and natural explorers. Babies are the model of how we learn, not by passive reaction to the environment but by functional testing through observation, hypothesis, experiment, and conclusion. Specific parts of the brain allow this scientific approach. The right prefrontal cortex looks for errors in our hypothesis. The saber-toothed tiger is not harmless, and an adjoining region tells us to change behavior, run. We can recognize and imitate behavior because of mirror neurons scattered across the brain. Some parts of our adult brains stay as malleable as a baby's, so we can create neurons and learn new things throughout our lives. The desire to explore never leaves us despite the classrooms and cubicles we are stuffed into. Babies are the model of how we learn, not by passive reaction to the environment but by functional testing through observation, hypothesis, experiment, and conclusion. Babies methodically do experiments on objects, for example, to see what they will do. Google takes to heart the power of exploration. For 20% of their time, employees may go where their mind asks them to go. The proof is in the bottom line. 50% of new products, including Gmail and Google News, came from 20% time. So you get to know and learn how our mind works properly. Hope you will use this information to understand your mind and move ahead in your life. Conclusion. A good night's sleep, the foundation for a sharp mind. Dr. John Medina reveals a profound truth about the human brain. Sleep is not simply a period of rest but a crucial time for cognitive processing and learning. While it might seem counterintuitive that a state of unconsciousness could be so vital for mental acuity, the brain is surprisingly active during sleep, working tirelessly to consolidate memories, process emotions, and prepare for the next day's challenges. The sleep-wake battle. Dr. John Medina describes sleep as a dynamic process governed by two opposing forces, the circadian arousal system, process C, which strives to keep us awake, and the homeostatic sleep drive, process S, which promotes sleep. These two forces engage in a continuous tug-of-war, influencing our sleep-wake cycles and determining our optimal sleep times. Understanding chronotypes. Dr. John Medina explained that individuals vary in their chronotypes, which refers to their natural sleep-wake patterns. Some people, known as larks, are naturally early risers, while others, known as owls, are most alert and productive in the evening. These differences are driven by variations in the timing of our circadian rhythms and have a significant impact on our sleep quality and cognitive performance. The importance of the nap zone. Most people experience a natural dip in alertness during the mid-afternoon, often referred to as the nap zone. This is a time when both process C and process S are at a low point, resulting in a transient feeling of sleepiness. Dr. John Medina note that ignoring this natural need for rest can lead to decreased productivity and increased errors. They suggest that embracing the nap zone, perhaps by incorporating a short nap into the workday, can significantly improve cognitive performance. The devastating effects of sleep loss. Dr. John Medina emphasized the detrimental effects of sleep deprivation on cognitive function. Even a single night of insufficient sleep can lead to impairments in attention, working memory, executive function, mood, and decision-making. Chronic sleep loss can have even more serious consequences, increasing the risk of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and depression. Sleep enhances learning and problem-solving. Dr. John Medina provide compelling evidence that sleep plays a critical role in learning and memory. They cite studies showing that students who get a good night's sleep perform significantly better on tests of memory and problem-solving than those who are sleep-deprived. They suggest that sleep allows the brain to consolidate memories, strengthen neural connections, and integrate new information with existing knowledge. The power of sleeping on it. Dr. John Medina also highlight the benefits of sleep for problem-solving and creative thinking. They describe studies showing that people are more likely to solve problems or gain insights after a period of sleep. This suggests that sleep allows the brain to work through problems unconsciously, making connections that might not be apparent during waking hours. Creating a sleep-friendly environment. Given the crucial role of sleep in cognitive function, Dr. John Medina advocate for creating environments that promote healthy sleep habits. This could include matching schedules to chronotypes. Schools and businesses could consider offering flexible schedules that allow individuals to work or study during their peak productivity times, taking into account their natural sleep-wake patterns. Respecting the nap zone, organizations could encourage or even institutionalize short naps during the workday to improve alertness and productivity. Promoting sleep hygiene, educate individuals about the importance of establishing regular sleep routines, creating a relaxing bedtime environment, and avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed. By prioritizing sleep and creating environments that support healthy sleep habits, we can harness the brain's remarkable ability to learn, adapt, and thrive. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and please remember to subscribe to receive notification of upcoming recordings. See you in next video.